everyone, and welcome back to my channel. It's Danii. In today's video I'm gonna show you how to make this beautiful boho wall hanging. This design, it's super easy to make, it's very beautiful, and it's actually very quick to make. So before you get started, don't forget to subscribe to my channel if you haven't done that already. And now let's see what you need to make this wall hanging. You're gonna need 100% cotton. This is from Lion brand. You will also need a tassel maker, and this is from Clover, as well as 6mm knitting needles. These are circular, but you can use straight needles if you prefer. And you will also need a wooden dowel. So we're gonna begin with a slip knot. And the bottom of this wall hanging is gonna be a triangle, and we're gonna be increasing in each row. If you have seen my Meraki shawl before, you already know how I like to do this, or the bandana bibs, the baby bibs. You already know how to do this. But if you don't know, we are going to increase in this single stitch by knitting in the front and the back of the stitch. So now we have 2 stitches, and this is row number 2. For row number 3, we're going to knit the first stitch, and then we're going to increase in the second one. And we do that by knitting the front and the back. So basically 2 stitches in 1. Now we have 3 stitches. Now for row number 4, knit the first stitch, increase in the second one, and then knit the last one. And we're gonna repeat this sequence. We're gonna be increasing by 1 stitch in each row. So continue doing this until you have 30 stitches on your needles, and that means 30 rows. And this is how we're going to make that beautiful triangle that's gonna be at the bottom. I just want to say that if you don't want to make the triangle, if you want to have it flat, you can go ahead and just cast on 30 stitches, and you're going to have, you know, a flat bottom instead of the triangle. That's totally optional. That's up to you. So you can do whatever you prefer. So in here I have my triangle. I have 30 stitches on my needles, and now we're going to continue knitting straight up. We're not going to increase anymore. And now we're going to do this beautiful what's it called? It's like a mesh kind of thing. So we're gonna knit the first stitch, wrap the yarn around once and twice, and then knit, wrap the yarn around once, twice, and knit. Do it again, 1, 2, and knit. 1, 2, and knit. And you're gonna continue doing this all the way down, and you're gonna see that you're gonna have a bunch of stitches on your needles. That's okay, we're gonna get rid of them in the next row, so don't freak out. Don't panic. Let's continue doing this. If you know the exact name of this stitch, can you please let me know in the comments below, because I just call it eyelet, mesh, I don't know. It's very pretty though. Okay, so now for the next row, we're going to knit the first stitch, and then we're gonna undo those 2 yarn overs that we did. And then knit again, undo the yarn over, knit again, undo, knit, undo. You gotta be careful to not be dropping any stitches. We just want to undo those yarn overs that we did, okay, not the actual stitch. So continue doing this all the way down. Here's the last stitch, and this is how it should be looking. Very, very pretty. So now in the next 3 rows we're going to continue with the garter stitch, knit 3 extra rows, and then we're gonna do another row of this eyelet stitch. How can we call it? This very pretty stitch. Continue knitting. And then another row of just knitting, so garter stitch, and one more time. Now in the next row we're going to knit 1, and we're gonna yarn over once instead of twice. And what this is gonna do is that gap in between the garter stitch, it's going to be smaller. So depending on how many yarn overs you do, that gap is gonna be either bigger or smaller. I personally don't like to do it more than 4 times because it looks very like floppy, and I don't know. I'd rather keep it no more than 3. So that's what we're gonna do. And I just want to mention as well that I'm gonna leave the link in the description box below to the reading pattern. You're gonna know exactly the amount of rows that I'm knitting in between these gaps, the exact amount of yarn overs that I'm doing. Okay, so you don't need to worry. Go to the link in the description box. It's gonna take you to the Clover Blog, and then you can check that reading pattern. So in here, as you can see, I'm knitting 1 and undo the yarn over, knit 1, undo the yarn over, knit 1 and undo. And continue doing this until you reach the exact length that you like. I'm gonna leave the exact measurements for mine, so if you want to do it the same, I already said you're gonna have the blog in the description box below, but go ahead and make it as long as you like. If you want to have one hanging from the top of your window down, I think it would look very pretty. You can go ahead and do that. And like I said, because we have these super big gaps, this project is actually very, very quick. I made mine in probably an hour, so it's a very quick project. So continue doing this until you reach the length that you want. Here is my wall hanging, almost done, as you can see. At the top in here, I did 10 rows of garter stitch just to have like a solid top. And now I'm gonna grab my dowel and a crochet hook that I'm gonna be using to just help putting the stitches on the dowel. If you don't have one, it's okay. I just think that it's easier. So we're gonna do yarn over like if we were knitting. And now we're gonna bring the dowel and pass it through the loop. You wanna tight, but not extremely tight, because if you do it like extremely tight, then we're not gonna be able to move the stitches along the dowel. So continue doing this, be patient. One stitch at a time until all your 30 stitches are on your dowel. And here I have all my 30 stitches, and now all you gotta do is cut the yarn and weave in the end. If you wanna leave one side that's gonna be the front or the back of your project, make sure to weave that in the back. And now we just need to attach 2 strings to hang it. And now this part is totally optional, but I'm gonna be putting fringes on my wall hanging. If you want, you can do that. If you don't like fringes, it's okay too. I'm gonna be using this tassel maker because it's great to make the fringes. It's actually very, very simple, and I love it because it makes them extremely even, and I don't have to be worrying about that. So what I'm gonna do is measure in here how long I want my fringes to be, and I think I'm good with that. So now I'm just going to secure my tassel maker right here in the middle. Same on the other side. And if you don't have this tool, it's okay. You can use any other tool that you have at home, a piece of cardboard, a book, anything will do. So now start wrapping your yarn around as many times as fringes that you want. And like I said, this tool makes just everything so easy. That's why I love it, and I 100% recommend it. So I think that I'm good with this. So now we're just gonna cut at the bottom in here. Bloop, boop, all the fringes flying around. Okay, and now we just have to attach them. So I'm gonna use my crochet hook again, and as you can see, I'm gonna be attaching each one of these on each row. So you can see in here the rows. So I'm gonna have one on each one. And to do that, I'm just gonna grab my crochet hook. My fringe is folded in half, so I just grab it in here and make a knot. And I'm also gonna grab the string that is hanging from here so it's not flying around there. And done. Now you gotta do the exact same thing all the way up until your triangle is full with fringes. Alright, and this is all for today's video. I really hope you guys enjoyed it. If so, please give it a thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel, follow me on social media. I'm gonna leave the link to the materials and everything in the description box below, as well as the Clover blog post. Thank you, Clover, for sponsoring today's video, and I'll see you guys in the next tutorial. Bye!